Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcoming you to another edition of Game Time with Kenny. Game Time with Kenny is in the house, and we are ready to rock and roll today. And today's edition, we want to start off before we go through yesterday's action. Um, the NFL draft is actually going to be coming up on Thursday, which is 2 days from now. And Mel Kiper of ESPN makes a prediction that 99.9% chance that Murray goes to the Cardinals. Kyler Murray will go to the Arizona Cardinals. Will that actually happen? Well, we will find out on Thursday. The New York Giants, why should they get Dwayne Haskins as Eli Manning's successor for a franchise quarterback? Well, I'll tell you, Dwayne Haskins, he has he has the potential to be like a Joe Montana in the NFL. I mean, his coverages, his reads, and everything that he has. When he was in Ohio State, he was such an impressive quarterback. He could be another Joe Montana, or even another, um, potentially, maybe even a Patrick Mahomes for Kansas City. So he is really that good of a quarterback that he was in Ohio State. And if the New York Giants get him, they may have a chance to be a Super Bowl contender um, after he develops in their franchise. So that would be something to really look forward to. Devin White and Drew Lock are the New York Giants' most likely first round picks. Well, will that happen? So we remain to see in the NFL draft, which does begin on Thursday. Mark Jackson of ABC's color analyst, who announces basketball with Mike Breen, um, he reports in saying that the Golden State Warriors core will not be together next year. Wow. Is that really going to happen between Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson? Are they not going to be together? And if that's the case, what will happen to the Golden State Warriors? Will they have the success of winning another NBA title next year? Will they be able to win one this year? Well, let's see. The Warriors, they need to win one more game to win a 4 games to 1 in a 5 games that it will take them to win if they win tomorrow. Last night in the NBA, what can you say about the Bucks? I mean, they were averaging over 120 points per game against the Detroit Pistons in the 4 games. They get 127 yesterday with a 127-104 victory. Giannis's 41 points led the way for the Milwaukee Bucks in yesterday's victory. And also, let's go through, before we go through the rest of the NBA from yesterday. In the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes, what can you say about them? They were down 2-0 against the Washington Capitals, and they come back and they win and they get 5 straight against Washington, and they beat the Capitals 5-2. And the overtime goal by John Klingberg for the Dallas Stars propels them to win 4 games to 2 in 6 games of the first round series against the Nashville Predators. So the Predators are eliminated and they will not be able to play until next year. Well, there was another elimination game that could have taken place in Salt Lake City if the Utah Jazz had lost against the Houston Rockets. But what a game did Donovan Mitchell His monster fourth quarter performance kept the Utah Jazz alive as they beat the Houston Rockets by the score of 107-91 in yesterday's game. That was just amazing, and how he came up with in that game. Tremendous. When we look at yesterday's game between the Rockets and the Jazz, we see that Crowder for Utah had 23, and Donovan Mitchell led the way with all scorers with 31 points in yesterday's game, including a huge fourth quarter to propel Utah to the victory over the Houston Rockets. James Harden, he led the way for Houston with an even 30 in yesterday's game, but it was not enough to eliminate the Utah Jazz, as they will go to Houston for a game number 5 for the next game. And Houston looks to hopefully win at home to advance to the second round. All right, so other news going around. Let's preview tonight's action in the NBA. In tonight's action, on Tuesday, April the 23rd, we're going to see 4 different games. And NBA TV will have 2 of them. The first one being Orlando at Toronto, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 1 p.m. for those of you in the Hawaiian Standard Time Zone. What can you say about the Toronto Raptors? I mean, after the game 1 loss, after the shocking loss at home against the Orlando Magic, they come back and they win 3 in a row, hoping to win 4 and not go back to Orlando for game 6. The Magic, they've got to stop the bleeding. I mean, their season is on the line in tonight's game, and so are the Brooklyn Nets in Philadelphia and Oklahoma City as they go into Portland. If the 3 teams lose, and they will be all of the road teams, if all the road teams in those 3 games lose, their seasons will come to an end. San Antonio will go to Denver. Denver is guaranteed at least a game 7 if they can pull off one of the last 2 before that, with starting with game 5 tonight. They do have the home court, and they need to go ahead and come out and play the best, as if it was their last game. They need to come out and they need to be energized, and they need to stick with a great defense, go after the loose balls and everything. It's going to be amazing to see what San Antonio and Denver can put out with each other in tonight's game in Denver. A lot of teams cannot win in Denver because of the air being so thin. Will that be a factor for San Antonio when they go to play in Denver tonight in game number 5? And when we go to the NHL in tonight's action, and let's see, in the NHL, when we talk about the San Jose Sharks and the Boston Bruins, they forced a game 7. And when we look at tonight's action, the Boston Bruins and the San Jose Sharks, they will be hosting game number 7s at home. Toronto Maple Leafs will go into Boston, and the Vegas Golden Knights will head to San Jose, which had the remarkable overtime victory in Vegas in game 6 to force this game 7. So 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 1 p.m. for those of you in Hawaii will be the game in Boston and San Jose. It will start at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. for those of you in the Hawaiian Standard Time Zone. So, Game 7. All 4 teams, their season is on the line. 2 of them will advance tonight. 2 of them will go home. Which 2 will go and which 2 will wait till next year? Game 7s, this is what it's all about. 1 game, 60 minutes of hockey will say it all. Or will there be an extended version of a Game 7 and they go to overtime? It should be some great action in both Boston and in San Jose. And hopefully there's going to be a couple of overtime games in a Game 7. But we'll see who really wants it all and who really wants to go after it. All right, so we want to go back and we want to cover some of the NFL schedule that we want to go through for this year. And when we go through week number 3, that's where we left off. So let's go through week number 3. And just give me just a second here. All right, so let's go to week number 3 in the NFL for this year's schedule. Well, we see that Tennessee will be in Jacksonville on the Thursday night game on the NFL Network, and the NFL on CBS in week 3. They will have the doubleheader games with Pittsburgh at San Francisco being the late game, along with the Houston Texans at the LA Chargers and the New Orleans Saints at the Seattle Seahawks. The early action in week 3, Cincinnati will be in Buffalo, but probably most of the country is going to be watching Baltimore at Kansas City. Well, we know what happened the last time the 2 teams played in Kansas City. What do we expect this time around? Well, we'll find out because they're going to be in Kansas City again for this game. Atlanta will be in Indianapolis, the Jets and the Patriots in Foxborough. Those will be the early games. And as I said, Pittsburgh and San Francisco will be in the late one. The Houston Texans at the LA Chargers and the New Orleans Saints are in Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Fox NFL Sunday, yes, they will have the Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers. And then they'll also have Miami at Dallas. Oakland Raiders are in Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Detroit is in Philadelphia. And a couple of late games at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, and 10 a.m. in the Hawaiian Standard Time Zone. And that will be the New York Giants will be in Tampa Bay for week number 3. And Carolina will be in Arizona. The Sunday night game, wow, the Cleveland Browns. They are actually going to be shown on a Sunday night football game against the LA Rams in Cleveland, Ohio. That is just remarkable that the Browns are actually going to be in a Sunday night primetime game, and their first one will be in week 3 against the LA Rams. And then the Monday night game will be the Chicago Bears and the Washington Redskins, as they will play in Maryland for that one. A huge week 3, but I'll tell you the game that really stands out in this one for week 3 for me is going to be the Baltimore Kansas City game. That is just going to be a game worth watching, and I'd love to see how Patrick Mahomes will perform against the Ravens, because with Ray Lewis and that entire defense, they come after you. I mean, and Patrick Mahomes is going to have to be ready. He's going to have to be on the top of his game. He's going to have quick reads, get the ball out, maybe sometimes in a two-step drop before that defense gets to him. So will he be able to perform under pressure against the Baltimore Ravens in that game? That's going to be remain to be seen. Well, when you look, it's just amazing to see in the NHL again that there are 2 Game 7s, and 3 of the 4 games in the NBA tonight, the road teams, if they lose, their seasons will be over. They want to force a Game 7. The Brooklyn Nets in Philadelphia, the Orlando Magic in Toronto, and the Oklahoma City Thunder in Portland. Does the Thunder have an answer for Damian Lillard and McCollum? Do they have an answer for both of them? Are they going to be more physical than the Portland Trailblazers and go after those loose balls and try to create havoc with them? That's going to be the key question as Oklahoma City goes to the City of Roses in Portland, Oregon tonight for game number 6. And game number 5. Game number 5 will be the game in Portland, in Philadelphia, and in Toronto. They will all have game number 5s. So it's going to be great in the NBA as well. Going to Major League Baseball. Let's cover that real quickly, and then we'll close for today. When you go back to Major League Baseball, in the Washington Nationals, you think about this. Are they real or not? The expensive luxury of Bryce Harper's antics. The $330 million man drew his 12th career ejection, taking him out of a close game the slumping Phillies couldn't afford to lose. Okay. Bryce Harper. Actually, I'm sorry. He's looks like he is with Philadelphia. Yeah. So what tensions got built up in Philadelphia yesterday? I mean, it's just insane. People were just so angry. You could just see the reaction as they were in Shea Stadium against the Mets, and they lose 5-1. Arizona wins in Pittsburgh 12-4. Chicago White Sox get the victory in Baltimore 12-2. Tampa Bay gets the victory over Kansas City 6-3. St. Louis with a 13-5 win in Milwaukee. Minnesota goes to Houston and wins 9-5. Colorado beats Washington 7-5. The New York Yankees took 14 innings to go into Anaheim and beat the Angels 4-3. And the Texas Rangers lose in Oakland 6-1. Detroit at Boston was postponed, so they did not play in yesterday's game. When you look at today's action, Detroit and Boston will play a doubleheader, with the first game starting at 7:10 a.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, which will be 1:10 Eastern. And then game 2 will start at 4:10 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. 1:10 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, which will be 7:10 Eastern and 4:10 on the West Coast. I think the game to look out for is the Yankees and Angels again. The Yankees and Angels, that's going to be a great, great game. when they play in Anaheim. Could be another extra inning thriller in that one. All right, it looks like we're going to be done with this edition of Game Time with Kenny. Enjoy the actions tonight in the NHL. Couple of game sevens, and 3 of the 4 games are elimination games in the NBA. Orlando, Brooklyn, and Oklahoma City have to find a way to win on the road if they're going to force a game 6 in their respective home courts. And if they win, to force a game 7 back on the road in Toronto, Philadelphia, and Portland. The San Antonio, Denver, we're hoping that it's a great game out there. Whoever does win, they have the chance of closing it out in game 6. The Spurs want to get the home court back and take care of business in San Antonio, but Denver wants to put on their best performance in this series, and then them going on the road and pulling off a game 6 win, and then to close out the series. All right, our next edition will be tomorrow morning, so you have a great day. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk about them again tomorrow. Bye.